Hello, good people. Welcome back to our YouTube channel. This is the Free and Love channel, and my name is Lavoisia Akolo. Thank you for always coming back to watch our videos. We are glad that you are watching. If this is the first time you are meeting me, I would first like to introduce myself. I came in the USA as a graduate student and studied and graduated in my PhD on an F1 visa. Later on, I changed my visa into a green card, and later on, I changed my green card into a US citizen. So currently, I am living and working in the USA as a US citizen. So this channel is all about empowering you, giving you knowledge, and educating you, and motivating you to succeed in life. It is about sharing our experiences with you. It's about sharing our successes and sharing the lessons we have learned through life, so that through our sharing, you can learn one thing or two. So today, I'll be sharing about community colleges in the USA. So there are many people who want to come to study in the USA, and today I'll be sharing specifically about international students who will want to come and study in community colleges in the USA. So first of all, I would like to let's define what a community college is. So a community college are colleges that you study for 2 years and get what is called an associate degree. But you can study for a shorter periods and get other certificates. So for students who are coming from outside, for international students who are coming to the USA and who will want to study in a community college, there are several things that you will want to learn about community colleges. So these community colleges were established in the USA to cater for a local student population, so that they can come from home and go to college without having to undergo expenses like student accommodation, etc. And these colleges are also cheaper than universities. So these colleges also cater for students who are from a lower economic background. And these colleges also attract students that maybe in one way or another have not met the academic or grade requirements in university. So these colleges are actually very beneficial because they are a bridge to successful careers without having necessarily to go to university. So there are several reasons why you should consider studying in a community college as an international student. The first reason is that these colleges are cheaper than the universities. So the tuition fee for these colleges is actually almost a half what you'll pay at a university. And you can actually study the same course in a community college and pay half the cost than somebody studying. You can actually study a similar course at half the cost in these community colleges as compared to studying in a university. Number two, these community colleges, it's also easier to get accepted into. Easier meaning that they don't have high academic entrance requirements. That means they are less competitive as compared to universities. These colleges are actually easier to get into. They use what is called an open admission system, which means anyone with a high school diploma can get into these colleges. And as I said, they academic requirements are not as stringent as the university. But as an international student, remember, you have to have passed English as a foreign language. You have to have passed an English as a foreign language examination test like TOEFL. Another reason why you should consider a community college is that generally the classes are smaller compared to the universities. Therefore, you'll have there is a low professor to student ratio. That means that you can have a one-on-one interaction with a professor, and that will give you a better quality of education. Another reason why you should consider studying in a community college is that you can actually transfer your credits to a university. That means that you can study for 2 years in a community college and then transfer and finish 2 more years in a university and get your bachelor's degree. In other words, you'll get your bachelor's degree at a lower cost as compared to somebody who went for a full 4 years at university. So basically, you'll get your degree at a lower cost. Most international students who come to the USA will want to pursue their education to the highest level. So you might go to it makes sense to start with a community college, and then when you get time and resources, you can transfer to a university and get your bachelor's, master's, or even PhD. Another reason why you should consider a community college as an international student is that after 2 years of study, you are actually eligible for what's called optional practical training. That means you come to the USA, study for 2 years, and you're eligible to start working. So you can work faster, you can get a job faster after only just 2 years of study. So next I'll talk about if you're a student outside there and you want to come to the USA. We have several community colleges across the USA. So how do you go about choosing which is the best community college for you? Because we realize that not all community colleges are going to cater for your need as an international student. So I'm going to talk to you about some criteria that you can use in choosing a community college. First, I'll talk about what is called the American experience. Those students who come to America, they don't just come to study. They also want to have the American cultural experience. So one reason to consider in choosing a community college is that how many students does a college have? So we have colleges with very few students, and we have colleges that have got a diversity of students, or if I can say many students. So if you choose a college that has many students, you'll have a better cultural experience. You'll experience America better than if you choose a college that has few students. So one factor is to look at the number of students that the college has in general. So the larger the number of students in the college, the better the American experience you're going to get. So the second factor you should think about when you are choosing a community college in the USA as an international student is, does the college admit international students? That is the question you should be asking yourself before you even apply. Or ask yourself, how many international students does the college have? So a college that has international students will most likely have a support system for international students in terms of the international students office or infrastructure that is going to guide you. As an international student, navigating the USA immigration and academic landscape is very challenging. And one thing about USA is that getting information might not be as easy as you think. So you need to have a dedicated office in a school that's going to guide you in immigration and academic progress. So a college that has a high population of international students will have a dedicated office to cater for international students, and that's going to be beneficial to you as you go about your studies. So choose a college that has a high population of international students, or choose a college that is popular with international students. That's going to be beneficial to you in the long run. So another factor you should consider in choosing a community college is ask yourself this question: does the community college have agreements with universities? So most community colleges will have agreement with universities that will enable students to transfer from this college to the university. So as a student in the USA, you just don't want to come and stop at your associate degree. You want to advance and get your bachelor's degree. So before you apply for the college, you should consider or ask the college or ask yourself this question: if the college has an agreement with the universities, that's going to put you in a system for you to be able to transit easily from the community college to a university if you want to advance your studies. Next, you should ask yourself, where is the college located in the USA? Now, USA has got several states and cities and etc. And the colleges that are located in big cities tend to be more expensive in terms of life, the cost of living. As I said, these are community colleges. Most of them do not have student housing, so you will have to stay in a private. You will have to cater for your own housing, and the cost of housing in big states in big towns is astronomical. You won't be able to afford. So choosing a college in a smaller city might be of economic benefit, might be beneficial to you economically in the long run. Another point about location is consider extreme temperature variations in the USA. In the USA, some states are subject to extreme temperatures. We have either extremely cold, varying from extremely cold to extremely hot temperatures. So if you are not able to withstand these temperatures, it's going to be very hard for you to survive in the USA. For example, states like New York, New Jersey, Washington, those states in the north and the northeast have got extremely cold winters, and states like Arizona, Texas have got extremely hot summers. So if you're not able to withstand those temperature conditions, you can choose a state that has more standard temperatures, like California. Although California also comes with another thing, it's very expensive. So look at all these factors and consider as you even apply for a college in the USA. So next I'll talk about the process of getting a visa. You realize that as an international student, you can only study in the USA when you are on a student visa, and the most commonly used visa is F1. So F1 is an academic, is given to people who are coming to do academic courses. We also have a J1 visa, which is an exchange visa. So of course the first step is to scout for a college and you can do a search. So when you're doing a search, look at all the factors that I mentioned previously, like international students, acceptability in the college. Look at the cost of living in that college, in that town. look at the location, is it etc. So once you have settled on your college of choice, you'll have to submit your application. Most applications are just online, and you might be required to download some documents, and the most commonly asked for documents are, of course, you must have fill the online college application form, and then you have to pay the application fee. You have to have your high school diploma or high school certificate. You have to have a copy of your passport, and then you have to have a proof that you can be able to finance your studies. Then you also have to have a proof that you have passed a test of English as a foreign language. Colleges might also want you to submit an essay or a personal statement. So make sure that you study the requirements for admission for every college. Every college has got its own admission guidelines, and it's important to go to the college website and see what these guidelines are. So once after you submit your application and it's accepted, the college will issue you a letter of acceptance and what is called, and also a form called an I-20 form. So an I-20 form is just a document showing that you are legally accepted to study in the USA. So it is this I-20 form that you will take to the US Embassy in your country and help you in the processing of your visa. Those of you who are coming on F1 visa will be issued an I-20 form, and those of you who are coming on a J1 visa will be issued what is called a DS2019 form. I'm going to put a link in the comment section about help you to navigate on how to find a school in the USA. So when you study in the USA, you are entered in what is called a Student and Exchange Visitor Information System or service. It's like a database that has information for all students who are in the USA. So you also have to pay a fee called the service fee. Service here stands for Students and Exchange Visitor Information System. So the service fee is about $350. You have to fill after you have been accepted in a college and given the I-20, you'll have to fill what is called a DS-160 form. So DS-160 form is just a form that you fill in your personal details like your name, your address, your criminal record, your health records. You upload your photo, and you make sure that your passport is current. To renew your passport just before you apply for your visa, because your passport has to be valid all your stay in the USA. And from my experience, renewing a Kenyan passport from USA is a nightmare. So make sure that your passport is valid before you start applying for the process, and make sure that you get a new passport, renew your passport. As I say, then you have to pay your application fee, and then when everything is now set, you will now be required to book an interview at the US Embassy in your country. So one thing you should know that booking for an interview, the process takes time, so you should start early. So make sure you prepare for the interview with your documents. Like you need to have a passport, you need to have a DS-160 confirmation form, you need to have a receipt that you have paid your service student fee, have your I-20 of course, and a copy of your passport photos. You will also be required to show proof of financial support that you will be able to fund your education in the USA. So when you go for the interview, make sure you have that bank statement. So you'll also have to carry your academic certificates and transcripts to show that you have the required academic background in your country before they allow you to fly to the USA. And lastly, you'll also be required to show proof of attachment to your home country, because as an F1 student, uh, they as an F1 student, you are required to go and study in the USA. F1 visa is not an immigrant visa. It's called a non-immigrant visa, meaning that it is not giving you a guarantee to go and stay permanently in the USA. So at the embassy, you will be required to show evidence that you have got sufficient ties to your home country that will require you to come back. That means you should show things like you have a bank account in your home country, you have some assets in your home country, you have like a job in your home country, you have family in your home country. So you must show that you have sufficient attachment to your country, because F1 visa is a non-immigrant visa. It's not guaranteeing you permanent stay in the USA. What do they ask at the embassy if you want to get your student visa? At the embassy, they'll be checking whether you have the skills and the academic documents that are required to pass the exams in the USA. So if they see that you are not academically sound, it might compromise your chances of getting a visa. Because they have to check whether you're able to pay for your education. So if your interview is if your visa is approved, then you'll get your passport back with your USA F1 visa stamp in it within 7 days. Then you can book your flight to the USA, and as an F1 student, you can get to the USA at least 30 days before the start of your school year. So make sure that you pack your I-20 and your passports in your carry-on luggage, so that there's no chance of it getting lost. Because when you land at the airport, when you go to the immigration control, the first thing you will be asked is your passports and your I-20. If you have those, then you will be allowed to enter in the USA. So I hope I was able to be of benefits and provide some information to all those people who are planning to come to the USA. And please, if you are planning to study in the USA, don't waste time. There are so many opportunities in the USA to study. And those of you who watched my last video, is that even as you study, you can also work part-time and generate some money to pay for your studies and for your support. So everything is achievable. You can achieve all that you want to achieve, and you can study to the highest level that you can study. So thank you very much for watching the video, and if you are new to the channel, I would like to request you to please consider subscribing to our channel. And if you are a returning subscriber, I would like to appreciate you for always coming back to watch our videos. So I hope you'll be able to come back and watch us next time. All I can say is bye.